Welcome to Cinema Stories. In this video we review the story about Penguin. This movie released on 2020. The film starts with an evil-looking stranger in a Charlie Chaplin mask holding a bloody sack while walking into a lake. Meanwhile, Keerthy wakes up. She, a young woman, who lives in Kodaikanal, is happily married to her hubby Gautam and is 7 months pregnant. Her husband is at a conference and tells Keerthy to go to her checkup appointment later, by audio message. He also says her that, if she's lonely, she can stay with her two best friends, Abhi and Bhavana. While at the hospital, Keerthy remembers her past. 6 years ago, Keerthy was married to another man named Raghu and together they had a son named Ajay. Ajay meant the world to Keerthy. She always spent her time with him. Keerthy is reading a story about a missing penguin and its mother. Raghu conveys Keerthy that her friend Bhavana's father has died. Raghu and Keerthy go to Bhavana's house with Ajay. There they run into Keerthy's other friend Abhi, and her hubby Kadir. Keerthy and Raghu go into the house where they see Bhavana's mother nearly mad with grief and Bhavana unfeeling in a confused state. Keerthy tries to calm Bhavana, but Bhavana doesn't respond. Raghu states Keerthy to give Bhavana her space and the two leave the house. It is just then that they recognize that Ajay has gone missing. Keerthy is instantly bothered and concerned about Ajay's whereabouts. Raghu says that Ajay couldn't have gone far and that they should not disturb anyone because they are all devastated. But after searching a lot, they could not find Ajay and others pitch in to help. Here it can be seen that Raghu is a bit angry towards Keerthy when he blames her for Ajay's missing. They search everywhere in the house, but Ajay is not there. Finally, Kadir finds Ajay outside the house, and Keerthy assurances that she'll never leave Ajay again. Now she back to the present, where a nurse states Keerthy that she is next to see the doctor. While she is waiting, she plays peek-a-boo with a little girl, but when she closes her eyes, the girl is nowhere to be found. She finally finds out that the girl's mom picked her up. But as she sees a big horde of insects on the ceiling, she has a horrible flashback and passes out. During the appointment, it is exposed that Keerthy is deathly afraid of bugs, and the doctor also says Keerthy to forget the past and to avoid going to the lake. Even though the doctor's warning, Keerthy drives to the lake and her remembrance continues. One day at the same spot near the lake, Keerthy was waiting to pick Ajay from school. Ajay's friend Pavi tells that all the kids heard a whistling sound from the forest and Ajay went into the forest following it. Pavi says that there was a man in a Charlie Chaplin mask in the forest. And after that, she never saw Ajay again. Keerthy is instantly bothered. She calls the police and the police all go to look in the lake. Keerthy, in her sorrow, falls into a dazed state. Raghu, Abhi, Kadir, and Bhavana all try to calm her and the police look in the lake and the forest, but Ajay isn't there. The police discover a bouquet with human bowels that come with a card that written, "Rest in peace." Upon farsighted the bouquet, Keerthy passes out. There were bugs swarming the bouquet and it is revealed that this is the cause of Keerthy's fear of insects. The doctor describes to Raghu that Keerthy has thought to associate bugs with death and says that if she doesn't think about what happened she will be fine and can go outside. Days pass, then weeks, then a year has passed. Keerthy starts to pass out leaflets to everyone. Then, an important lead is found and Keerthy and Raghu go to the forest. They discover Ajay's blood-stained clothes and the police say that it is very likely that Ajay is no more alive. But Keerthy refuses to accept as true and says that he is fine. Later, Abhi tells Keerthy that if she can pass this phase then a lot of surprises will come in life and that she should start moving on. Abhi speaks about how Bhavana moved on after a guy she loved in college dumped her, and how she and Kadir have no children even after 7 years of marriage and still stay living. Bhavana says that this isn't the end and that this is when Keerthy's life will start. At the present, she realizes an injured man being chased by a stranger. The man tells her to run and also tells her that he saw the stranger with a missing child and gives his phone and tells he took his photo. Keerthy manages to escape, but sees the killer kill the man. While her phone was ringing, the killer sees Keerthy but lets her escape for unknown reasons. She thinks that the missing child is Ajay and calls a friend of her who is a police inspector. But her friend says that it's not possible because another girl named Anjana has also gone missing. But she still goes back to the lake, and on her way there, she sees a boy run in front of her car. Looking at him, she recognizes that the boy is Ajay. An ambulance and the police arrive and Ajay is taken to the hospital. DNA tests confirm that the boy is Ajay and Keerthy is delighted. Keerthy's friends arrive and they are also happy about the news. At the hospital, Keerthy sees Anjana's mother who reminds Keerthy of herself when Ajay disappeared. Anjana's mother asks if Ajay can tell her where Anjana is. Keerthy illuminates that Ajay hasn't talked yet. Anjana's mother leaves the hospital crying. A surprised Raghu arrives at the hospital after being informed about Ajay, and upon seeing Ajay's state he is heartbroken. Dr. David informs Keerthy that Ajay has been tortured by his kidnapper and hasn't spoken a word to anyone. Ultimately, Raghu and Keerthy are left alone and a remembrance regarding their marriage. Afterwards they can't find Ajay. Keerthy becomes unhappy and Raghu's toxic behavior causes them to divorce when Raghu blames Ajay's missing on Keerthy. They both go their separate ways. In the present day, Raghu asks for forgiveness for his behavior and lets Ajay go home with Keerthy. When Ajay goes to Keerthy's house, he is still very silent and is very uncomfortable. Gautam says that Ajay can call him dad if he wants. Here a remembrance of how Keerthy met Gautam, 1 year ago. While Keerthy is emotionlessly handing out leaflets and walking away, Gautam picks one up. He understands what she is going through and states that he will agree to take her just the way she is, whether she can forget her past or not. Keerthy and Gautam finally marry. That night, she overhears Ajay singing Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, and sees his drawings of the kidnapper. Very next day Keerthy shows that drawings to Dr. David, who tells that, which denote that the kidnapper is still following him. One day at a carnival, she sees the kidnapper while in restaurant with Ajay, but fails to follow him. Raghu came that spot. She also loses Ajay, but Raghu manages to find him with the help of her dog. Raghu asks Keerthy to take him to the place where she found Ajay. However, Ajay cracks the driver. When Raghu states Ajay to drop his tool, Ajay amazingly listens to Raghu. When Keerthy sees a lot of flies, she passes out. Raghu fetches her to her home because Gautam couldn't be reached. In the middle of the night, she dreamed Ajay tries to kill someone. Suddenly she wakes up. Raghu tries calm her. Then later Gautam came, both were sleeping. Ajay tries to stab Keerthy's stomach but disappears when she wakes up. She overhears Ajay singing Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star. She goes to Ajay's room. The kidnapper breaks into Keerthy's house and communicates with Ajay by sign language. Keerthy attempts to hit the kidnapper but he overrides her and escapes. When police, Dr. David and her friends all came her house. Dr. David tried to communicate with Ajay, but he does not respond. Doctor said both may have secret sign language and suggests that Gautam take Ajay to a speech therapist. On the way there though, Anjana's mother falls unconscious in the road, so Gautam takes her to the hospital. Meanwhile, Keerthy's dog Cyrus discovers human organs in a dump. Cyrus leads Keerthy to a house that belongs to David. Suspecting David, Keerthy finds a way to make him leave the house. She searches his house and finds a secret room where she finds Anjana. Cyrus helps Keerthy save Anjana. But David tries to kill Ajay. Keerthy used fire extinguisher and save Ajay from David and gets David arrested. Anjana is come together with her parents. However, Ajay is injured, so Keerthy tells Gautam to take him to the hospital while she goes to the police station. When Keerthy queries David, it is revealed that he kills kids for their organs. David also discloses that if he had kidnapped Ajay, Ajay would have been dead. It is exposed that David wrote the rest in peace cards and sent the bouquet to divert the police from his crimes. David also states that the kidnapper is around Keerthy and that she has to look at things from a different point of view to figure out who the kidnapper is. She starts to suspect Raghu because Ajay listened to him. She tries to call Gautam but he doesn't answer. She reaches the hospital where she sees that Gautam was attacked. Gautam holds a glove and tells that the kidnapper is female and says that she took Ajay. Keerthy runs through the clues in her head and finds out who the kidnapper is, but she doesn't know why they kidnapped Ajay. She gets in the car and drives to a house. There is an unclear portrait of a woman. The kidnapper shows up and pulls off her mask, revealing that she is Bhavana, Keerthy's childhood friend. Keerthy asks where Ajay is and Bhavana says that she'll tell Keerthy if she has a drink. Keerthy drinks the drink. Bhavana says that Keerthy will do anything for Ajay because Ajay is her world. But Bhavana says that when her world was shattered and she tried to fix it, she would see Keerthy in every shard. Bhavana's past is revealed through a brief flashback. When Bhavana and Keerthy were little, everyone put Keerthy in the highlight and Bhavana was left last. As they got older, this manners continued. While Bhavana presented her sports trophies to her parents, they would always lay off her accomplishments, saying that Bhavana is not good in studies, but Keerthy was at the top of the grades in school. Bhavana was joyful that who she loved was her choice, but even that guy selected Keerthy over Bhavana. When Keerthy was engaged, Bhavana's parents organized Keerthy's wedding because she was an orphan, forgetting that they had a daughter who wasn't engaged at home. And as everyone compared Bhavana to Keerthy, Bhavana started to lose her identity. So she created one of her own. When she saw how worried Keerthy was after Ajay went missing for 5 minutes, Bhavana decided to kidnap Ajay for one day and return him. But when she saw how upset Keerthy was, she retained Ajay locked up for one day. Then a week, and just like that 6 years passed. Bhavana says that when David copied her style she was a little scared, but she kept everything under control. But one day, Abhi's husband Kathir tracks Bhavana to an underground room where Ajay's clothes were found, and sees Bhavana cuffing Ajay. Bhavana stabs Kathir and forces Ajay to stab Kathir. Kathir tells Ajay to run, and Ajay does so while Bhavana kills Kathir. Ajay runs until he runs in front of Keerthy's car. Bhavana says that Keerthy has a choice between saving her unborn child or Ajay. It is revealed that the drink was poisoned and that Ajay was given the same drink. Bhavana says that no matter what she will have to make a comparison and that someone will die anyways. Bhavana speaks that Keerthy will lastly understand how Bhavana felt all those years. Bhavana says that Keerthy will be haunted by her choice forever and that when she remembers her choice she will remember Bhavana. After saying that, Bhavana shoots herself in the neck. Keerthy runs outside, discovers the underground room with Cyrus' help, and releases Ajay. In the room, she also finds Kathir's decomposing body. She and Ajay try to run away but the toxic starts to affect Keerthy. Ajay speaks for the first time and calls her mom. He then runs outside and finds help. Keerthy is admitted in hospital, and since she had a small dose of poison, both she and the baby are safe. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more movie stories.